Okay, let's start the class, guys. So welcome everyone. This is the fourth class of our CCNP switching. So today, guys, we will see the mainly first, what is the port fast feature, and then we will see the BPD guard and BPD filter. Then mainly, guys, we will see all the end machine. Okay, all the end machine in the real world. What the configuration we will do for on all the switch port, okay, which are connected to our end port. Okay. So usually, previously, guys, we were discussing the convergence speed. So yesterday, we configure the rapid spanning tree on all the switches. Okay. And again, guys, you see the port which is going to my end machine. Okay. Normally on those port, we configure these edge port. And once you enable the port fast feature on those port, those port will show you like an edge port. Okay. So if you don't enable the port fast feature, again, might be you will don't get the higher convergence speed. So let's say I haven't I forget to enable the port fast. Even let's say this port goes down, then after some time it come up. And again, point A to point B, this port first take 15 seconds for listening, then 15 seconds for learning, and eventually basically you won't get the end-to-end higher convergence speed. Okay. So that's the second main point. Okay, if you want end-to-end higher convergence speed, make sure every switch running rapid spanning tree, and plus all my end machine port. Okay, they should have the port fast feature. Okay. So first, guys, we'll see what is the port fast feature. Okay, and maybe in CCNA you study port fast feature basically discard the listening and the learning state. Okay, so yeah, that's the one advantage. But the main advantage, guys, configuring the port fast. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, basically in STP, in spanning tree. Okay, if any change happen, let's say this is a port going to end machine. Okay, this is going to the host. So in the real world way, I show you how end machine they are connected today, because even these days, guys, mostly people are using laptop, and the laptop they don't have the NIC card. So normally all my end machine laptop, okay, they connected through via Wi-Fi. That's the mostly people think, but no, there is another way also. I will tell you that way also. But let's see if that port end machine. Okay, I'm coming office every day 9 to 5. Okay, I connect RJ45 cable to my laptop, and let's say if I connect it the cable and then remove the cable, so any port goes up and down. What STP do? Okay, STP basically generate TCN, topology change notification. And what this TCN do? So if you switch C, okay, there is any TCN generate, switch basically re refresh their CAM table, okay, MAC address table. Okay. So any TCN generator in your LAN network, they will flush the CAM table and then relearn the MAC address. So that's not a good, right? How switches basically learn the MAC address. Okay. So if we enable the port fast feature, and the port fast feature, let's say if that port goes down, then come up, it won't generate the TCN. So that is a main advantage of configuring the port fast. Okay, port fast feature basically allow you to don't generate the TCN. And the second advantage, when you connect the port, it immediately go into the forwarding state. Okay, that is the second advantage of port fast. So that means, guys, like if I show you right now the configuration of all my port, which is going to end machine, okay, simply like we have configured switch port mode access and switch port mode access VLAN 10 and 20. So if you see like on switch 3, which is my access switch, okay, and if we see the configuration interface gigabit 0 wire 3, so we have only these two commands. But definitely, guys, in the real world, every pod, okay, I will configure the spanning tree port fast feature. Here, guys, like the command is like a spanning tree port fast is edge. In the catalyst iOS, okay, this keyword is not required. So this keyword is only required in event. However, in Nexus, this is the exact command. Okay. The Nexus, guy, like those who don't know what is Nexus, Nexus basically the switches which we use in data center, and for enterprise we use like iOS XE version. Okay. So the iOS XE, the command is this, only spanning the port fast. However, on the Nexus switches, this is the full command. Okay. So let me show you, let's say by default, like what switch do, okay? Let's say if we say debug spanning tree, and so normally, guys, like the debug command, that is basically producing a lot of messages, okay? So let's say debug spanning tree event. So I'm not saying, and let's say if I say I'm going to shut down the port, and I just want to show you like shutdown and no shutdown. So I think like this command debug spanning tree is not let's say debug spanning tree, or keep in mind, okay, like we are running RSTP. So RSTP is basically different, okay, it's not going to learning. So this is like very massive output. That's why, guys. So in the real world, guys, like we never use debug command unless we might be use the debug command with the condition, because you see like right now I cannot do anything, okay. In that case, guys, like your switch CPU goes very high, okay, and might be your CPU switch might be crash. So that's why, guys, like don't use this debug command. So in this case, like guys, what can I do? So maybe I going to close the session and connect it back, okay, and let's say turn off the message if I can, you all and debug all. Yeah, so the debug have message has been off, but it still might be taking some time. Okay. But anyway, let's go to switch 4. Switch 4 also like having some end machine connector. So the point is, guys, like all my port, okay, all my port which is going to the end machine, make sure you enable this command, port fast edge. And if you see the result, show spanning tree. So if you see the port with edge command, so let me show you here, guys. In the real world, you will see P2P and edge keyword. So that means like all the port where you see this output, okay, P2P and edge, that means those are the port having the port fast feature is enabled. Okay, so the port fast feature, again, it won't generate the TCN, topology change notification. That means your switches will not flush the CAM table, okay? And the second advantage, once you connect any device and on this port, the port fast feature is enabled, your port automatically, so your port basically forward the traffic immediately, okay? It won't go to listening and learning state. It will basically forward the traffic immediately. So that's why, guys, like make sure if you want end-to-end means like higher conversion speed, okay? So this should be your configuration. All the switches must like run RSTP, and all the port which is going to the end machine, okay? Make sure on those port, the port fast feature is enabled. And here, let me see like why it is not showing edge. So if we see the configuration show run interface, gigabit 0i3, this is my port going to the, okay, this has trunk configuration. Okay, that's why guys, this is not showing edge. Okay, let me correct the configuration. Okay, so interface gigabit 0i3, switch port mode access, switch port access VLAN 10, show spanning tree VLAN 10. So now if you see guys, like this port is showing edge. Some scenario guys, like you also want to configure the edge port on a trunk. So let's say like you have a connection between switch and or maybe the firewall. Or maybe let's say you have a switch and you have a connection to the router. Or maybe you have a connection like this, okay, switch and we have a server. So between switch to server, we want to pass multiple VLAN. Let's say VLAN 10, 20. So in this case, guys, like definitely if we want to pass the multiple VLAN, we will configure this port as a trunk port. And on this scenario, as this server, okay, they are not running STP protocol. So we are not like exchanging the hello packet, okay, like the BPDU message. So on those scenario, okay, maybe you can also configure these port as a port fast, okay, even though the configuration on those port, okay, switch port mode trunk. So on those scenario, guys, if you want to enable the port fast feature over the trunk port, okay, so the command is, guys, like interface gigabit 1 via 0. This is my other port, okay, switch port fast, sorry, spanning tree port fast, and then spanning tree port fast edge trunk. So this is a command if you want to enable the port fast feature over the trunk port. Okay. But we never enable the port fast feature between switch to switch. The reason why, even if you do, if you, let's say, if you enable the port fast feature, the connection which is connected between the switches, it won't work, okay? Because basically we these port fast feature, okay, it basically stopping the hello packet, okay. It's stopping the hello packet, which are our BPD. And we know that this is very useful, okay, because switches, they communicate each other and they figure out who is the STP root switch in our network. If we stop the hello packet, then how they communicate, okay. And even if you accidentally configure the command here, it won't work. So let me show you. Let's say if I accidentally enable the port fast feature between these two ports, it won't show you as an edge port, okay. So I can show you guys. Let's say if you accidentally, let's say if you configure the command and that port is basically connected to this another switch, okay. Let's say we are on a switch 4 and my interface gigabit 0 via 2, which is going to my core switch, okay. So gigabit 0 via 2. So this is a trunk port and it is connected to the another switch. And if we say, let's say interface gigabit 0 via 2, span tree, port fast, edge, and definitely this is a trunk port. Over the trunk port, we need to enable this command. So even it's giving the warning, make sure that port shouldn't be connected to the switch, otherwise it will generate the loop. Because you see, like the spanning tree protocol, okay, they all the switches, they communicate to each other and figure out who is the root switch, so that because STP, that is the job of STP, right? Avoiding the loop. But in this case, even if you configure this command, still if we see show spanning tree interface gigabit 0 wire 2, it is showing edge, but in the real world, guys, definitely I can show you, like, let's say detail. Still, we are sending the BPDU and receiving the BPDU. So these are basically the hello packet. But there is one more command, like show spanning tree interface gigabit 0 wire 2 port fast. So it is showing enable here, but in the real world, definitely, guys, this here you will see the disable, okay? Because you cannot, guys, stop the BPDU message, okay? The where the like the port is connected to the another switch, okay? So with another command, guys, like we have, which is BPDU guard and BPDU filter. So you need to understand, guys, like by default, any switch port, okay, any switch port basically sending the BPDU hello message. So even these are my port, which is going to the end machine. They are also sending the hello packet to these laptop, or maybe any end. It could be your printer, it could be your any end machine, okay? This is unnecessary. So this is unnecessary. Like we can see, like let's say this is my port gigabit 0y3. It is going to the end machine, and still we are sending the hello packet to this end machine. And these hello packet, guys, again, these are called in switch word, okay, BPDU, which basically used to exchange the switch priority so that they can figure out like who is root in our network. So here, guys, again, if we see, let's say on switch 4, if we run this command show spanning tree interface gigabit 0y3 and detail, you see, like I'm sending the BPDU on this port. However, I'm not receiving any BPDU because end machine, these are the like end machine, they don't know what is BPDU. So every 2 seconds, okay, every 2 seconds, you see, like earlier the counter is 202. Now I have again sending the hello message to the end machine. So that's why, guys, the port which is going to the end machine, we also enable the one more command in the real world, which is spanning tree BPDU filter, spanning tree BPDU filter, and enable. So again, if you see the configuration, guys, interface gigabit 0 via 3. So we have switch port mode access. So these are, guys, like unnecessary command. I will remove that, okay? Switch port mode access, port fast, and BPDU filter. So once you enable the BPDU filter, let me show you the output again. Show spanning tree interface gigabit 0 via 3 detail. And if you see now, this message should be stop. Okay, so this is the like the previous counter. So if you say continuously, now this message is stop now. Okay, so again, like let me tell you the function of like this BPDU filter. Okay, so what BPDU filter do? So BPDU filter basically, like let's say we have an end machine. So BPDU filter basically also stop the sending BPDU, even if this machine send the BPDU, it will also stop the receiving BPDU. Now you might be think, okay, like why the end machine sending the BPDU? So there is like one attack. So let's say like I have a one attacker, okay, in my machine, in my LAN. So might be attacker send the in my LAN superior BPD. Okay, what is a superior BPD? Superior BPD basically a device, a BPD which has lower priority. Because you see like how STP work. Okay, let's say one of the attacker machine become a root in my network, then all the switches basically they forward the traffic to the root first, then send back. Okay, and might be like attacker basically they install some packet capture and they are monitoring all the traffic. Okay, so that's why guys, might be if you have an attacker in a LAN and if they send the any superior BPD. Okay, superior BPD basically attacking is it basically means a BPD which has the lower bridge ID. So उसको prevent करने के लिए, to prevent that, we might be also want to stop the incoming BPD. Okay, because end machine, okay, they never send the BPD. So what BPD filter do? Okay, it basically not only stopping the outgoing BPD as well as incoming BPD. But this BPD filter, okay, they will do silently. There is another command which is BPD guard to stop this attack, guys. So what BPD filter do? Okay, first like BPD filter only stop the incoming BPD. So same scenario, guys. Let's say we have a switch and we have an attacker in a LAN, and might be this machine sending the superior BPD. And if on this port, if we have a BPD guard, so BPD guard only preventing the inbound receiving BPD and it take the action. However, on the other hand, BPD filter, this feature won't take any action. But if you also enable the BPD guard, okay, and it will take the action, but this feature do okay, it will basically shut down this port, okay, and also generate the syslog message. So let me show you guys, like let's say you can also enable the BPD guard on the end port. So show run interface gigabit 0y3. So interface gigabit 0y3 spanning tree BPD guard enable. So let me again show you the full configuration of this port. Okay. So, or maybe let's say default interface gigabit 0y3. So what this command do, guys? This command basically remove all the command under this interface, and it will basically make this port as a default configuration. Okay. So I want to show you like all the command. Okay. So interface gigabit 0y3 switch port mode access. So this command basically disables the DTP protocol. Then switch port access VLAN 10. This command basically assigns this port into the VLAN 10. Spanning tree port fast. So this command basically enabling the port fast feature on this port. Spanning tree BPD filter enable. Spanning tree BPD guard enable. So this must be the configuration of your all your switch port, okay, which is going to the end machine. Interface gigabit 0y. So again, this command guard is only stop the incoming BPD, okay, incoming. And you can use both the feature. I seen like in the real world, mostly companies use this feature, but the advantage of also configuring the BPD filter, okay, because if you only enable the BPD guard, you are still sending the BPD to the end machine, okay, which is unnecessary. That's why I personally use both the feature, okay, on all the port which is going to the end machine. And let's say, guys, accidentally, if you enable the feature, okay, if you enable the feature BPD guard, okay, between these two port, what happened? Okay, so let me show you. Let's say accidentally, because you see like these switches, they will send the BPD every 2 seconds. Okay. And accidentally, if you enable the BPD guard, and I also want to show you, okay, let's see how this feature work, okay. So it will generate the syslog message as well as they will shut down this port automatically. So let's say guys, like I want to show you the feature, show this feature, okay, like what this do, okay, if they receive the BPD, how basically what syslog message you will see on your switch, okay, and how they will shut down this port. So to show you, basically enabling the BPD guard between switch to switch, okay, and normally we never do, okay, in the real world. So interface gigabit 0 via 1, spanning tree, BPD guard, enable. You see, like once on this port, we receive the BPD because this switch is basically sending the BPD to me. As the BPD guard is enabled, it will shut down the port. Okay. So you see, like my port is down. And on the other hand, this switcher also stopping the incoming BPD, but it is not taking any action. It basically silently dropping those BPD. Okay. That means like both feature, okay, prevent that attack. But however, this feature taking the further action, okay, it also generate the syslog message. So you will see these log messages, okay, and also shut down the port. That's why company, if you see like those who are working, you will see only company are using this feature, okay, not this one. So here guys, like if we see show interface status, you see like my port is down and basically that port went to the error disable. In CCNP, maybe like you study like the port security. If the port security violation occur, okay, the port goes to error disable. So guys, there's multiple reason your port might be goes to error disable. Okay, error disable guys means basically my port is in shutdown mode. Okay, it's not working, it is down. So just as I told you, I mainly use this command for the troubleshooting purpose. Show interface status. Okay, this is like I use command a lot on switches. And if you see like your any port in error disable, and if you want to troubleshoot this, okay, first there's a multiple reason your port goes into the error disable state. And how you find out, okay, like my port is error disable and I want to know the reason. So there to check the reason, okay, you need to run this command, which is show interface gigabit 0 via 1 error status error disable. So this will tell you the reason because of BPD guard, your port went to the error disable. Then you may check the configuration of this interface, okay, and you will see, oh, this interface is going to the switch. So on in this interface, this feature must be disabled. That's why my port is going into the error disable. So I will basically turn off the feature. Okay. So in the real world, guys, let's say if I disable the feature, show run interface gigabit 0 via 1. So as I know the reason, okay, I disable the feature, but still your port will not come up. Because once the port goes into the error disable, okay, it will only come up we need to manually shut or no shut. This is the one option. The second option we have, we can configure the error disable automatically recovery on every switch. Okay. And definitely, guys, in the real world, you will enable this feature. Okay. So let me show you guys like what is this feature. Okay. So in this case, guys, like I'm not using the option one, like maybe in CCNA you study, once the port went into the error disable, we need to shut and no shut the port. But here, guys, I already fixed the problem. So definitely I want make sure the port automatically recover from the error disable state. Okay. So there is a command like error disable recovery and cause. And if you see, guys, these are the cause. So these are the cause, might be your port went to the error disable. So in our case, guys, like our port is basically went to error disable because of the BPD guard. But you see like the ARP inspection, maybe layer one loop, okay, ether channel, port security. There's plenty of reason, okay, your port might be goes to error disable. So here I can say the command is like error disable recovery cause all, any reason, okay. And then error disable recovery time. So by default, I think it's a 60 second, but I want to configure the minimum, which is 30 second, okay. So once I fix the problem, this port automatically recover. Okay? And you can check that like as we have enabled the auto recovery. So interface 0 1 status. So now this port should come automatically because we have enabled the error disable recovery automatically. Okay, so let's wait for 30 seconds, okay. So one more time, like make sure that we have enabled the command gigabit 0 1. So spanning tree BPD is command is removed. And show interface gigabit 0 1 status error disable. Okay, here I'm not sure, guys. Like we will see the recovery automatically, but in the real world, okay, or those who have like a real switches, you can test that. Okay, but definitely, guys, you can see like the error recovery feature. Okay, we have on enabled, and the time is by default is 30 seconds. It's showing like interface will be enabled next time out is 209 seconds, which approximately 3 minutes. Yeah, maybe like you can see that after 189 seconds, okay, it should be 30 seconds as we, or maybe I think it took the default timer because the first we enable the recovery and then after that we set the timer, okay. But for this interface, might be it's showing like after 189 seconds, okay, the port basically recover itself because we have like a recovery is on, okay. So I think like we don't need to wait on this timer, but by using this command, okay, we know that the port will be recovered automatically after 155 seconds. Okay. So any question up to this point, guys? I'm going to unmute you. Okay, you can ask the question. Any question up to this point?
अगर जैसे अपना ये पोर्ट मतलब वैसे ही डाउन जाता है तो इसकी इसमें अपन कैसे रीजन चेक कर सकते हैं किस रीजन से डाउन गया है?
पोर्ट डाउन गया कि एरर डिसेबल में गया?
नहीं, डाउन हो गया।
डाउन का तो कोई ऐसा मतलब अगर लेट्स से किसी ने केवल अनप्लग कर दिया जहाँ कोई फिजिकल इशू की वजह से पोर्ट डाउन हो गया, उसका कोई रीजन नहीं है दोस्त, एरर डिसेबल का रीजन है।
अच्छा, तो जैसे अगर फिजिकली कुछ प्रॉब्लम आई है उस केस में अपन क्या देख सकते हैं, मतलब पोर्ट के अंदर कुछ
So it depend like we will cover this, okay? Like let's say your port is not showing up and that port is Ethernet or a fiber. So we will see how we troubleshoot the Ethernet port troubleshooting if we have any physical issue, or if let's say the port is fiber port, okay, and that port is also not coming up, and we will also see the troubleshooting of fiber port later on if there is any physical problem.
एक मेरा लास्ट क्वेश्चन ये था कि जैसे अभी अपने एसटीपी पढ़ रहे हैं तो इसका एक मतलब आर्किटेक्चर व्यू से अगर अपन से कोई पूछे कि आप क्यों यूज कर रहे हो एसटीपी को, एकदम लैंग्वेज पूछे कि आर्किटेक्चर व्यू में बताओ कि आप क्यों यूज कर रहे हो एसटीपी को, तो उस सेंस में अपन क्या बोलेंगे मतलब उसको।
Simple like a STP पहले तो by default चलता है, we don't need to do any configuration, okay? By default Cisco switch is running PVST plus, our Nexus switch is running rapid PVST, okay? और obviously हर को when you design the network, okay, you need a redundancy. तो obviously redundancy में जब आप उसको स्टॉप करने के लिए, लूप को स्टॉप करने के लिए, तो STP तो behind the scene अपने आप काम करेगा. The only thing like we focus on, okay, like here uh, to achieve the higher conversion speed, okay, so that's why we just today we change the RS STP mode and we run RSTP.
एक्चुअली मेरा एक इंटरव्यू था
Mm-hmm.
लास्ट मंथ था, तो वो आर्किटेक्ट था वो बंदा।
Mm-hmm.
तो उसने मुझसे बस यही क्वेश्चन पूछा, मतलब लैंड बाई जो सारी बीटीपी एसटीपी को वो मुझसे मतलब क्वेश्चन बोल रहा था कि मैं
Mm-hmm.
यहाँ ऐसा क्या करूँगा कि क्या यूज करूँ, कौन सा प्रोटोकॉल यूज करूंगा।
Mm.
तो
So
अब मुझे उसका क्वेश्चन याद नहीं आ रहा, लेकिन उसने मुझे उसका आंसर दिया था कि मुझे यहाँ एसटीपी यूज करना पड़ेगा या आरएसटीपी यूज करनी पड़ेगी।
yeah, that's very simple. I mean, like I seen the design. I seen the design. Even people are running like I will. But that design is basically not an enterprise design. Okay, that is basically data center design. So I seen the design like we have a core switches, then we have a distribution switches, then we have a access layer switches. So I seen the design like a server. Server are connected to my leaf switches. And here I'm not using STP, okay? I configure the point-to-point IP /30/30. Then I'm running any protocol, okay? Let's say BGP. But those design I have seen on data center, okay? Again, data center where we have all the server, not the user. In enterprise, okay, in enterprise, you will see mainly these design, okay, and obviously we know that, okay, as RSTP has higher conversion speed, okay, over the PVST plus, which is a default running, okay, on the enterprise switches. You simply say that's the big advantage, okay. I will run rapid spanning tree mode, okay.
आई थिंक एमएसटीपी यूज होता है ना आजकल तो मोस्टली, या
No,
आरएसटीपी करते हैं।
depend how big is your network. Again, agar if you have only 50 VLAN, okay, or maybe up to 50 between 100, then might be I will use RSTP. If we have, let's say, more than 100 VLAN, then I will use MSTP. So yeah, so definitely you need to know like earlier, like what is the disadvantage of PVST, then what is the advantage of RSTP. Yeah, definitely the MSTP only. So I never seen, as I told you, like I have worked on like from last 12 year, okay. So on enterprise network, because you see like maximum I see like VLAN around either 20 or 30 or 40, okay, not even 50. So those are like enterprise network, and we don't have like higher VLAN configure, okay, in our LAN. That's why I never seen on my those company, okay, they are not running MSTP, okay, they are simply running RSTP.
Really, yeah, I don't know why my company is running MSTP, but we also have like 20, 30 VLANs around each
So
site.
yeah, the advantage of configuring MSTP, okay, you see like a rapid spanning tree means we are running STP per VLAN. So that means switches consuming more resources, okay, if you're running per VLAN span tree. And the main advantage of configuring MSTP, okay, because in MSTP we can create a logical instance, okay. So instead of let's say I have a 30 VLAN, from 1 to 10 I will create one logical instance. 10 to 20, I will create second logical instance. Then 21 to 30, I will create third logical instance. And then only 3 STP instance will be run, okay, in this case. And MSTP also has the same conversion speed like a rapid spanning tree. That's the only advantage. Per VLAN, that means if you have a 30 VLAN, okay, that means the STP running for per VLAN, that means it taking more resources. So you can use like in that case MSTP also. But that's clear, guys. Like what is BPD filter do and BPD guard do?
Yes, it's clear.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I have one query.
Mm-hmm.
So when we use this command, spanning tree link type point to point, I see this command on the like production switches.
Now you don't need to configure this command. Like as I told you, by default, the link type is P2P. Okay.
Okay, so on what scenarios we use this command?
So as I told you, you don't need to use this command. This is by default. And if even if you do, let me show you. Okay, let's say so only scenario if we see the output here shared SHR. So just today, like we cover what is SHR means. So HSR means, let's say we have a switch to switch link, and that link in half duplex mode. In that case, you will see SHR output instead of P2P. But if you see P2P, that means you link in full duplex mode. And right now, all my interface is working as a duplex, full duplex, okay? That's why we are saying P2P. And even though if you changing the type, might be it will impact the cost. I don't know, but here I will not, there is no advantage, okay, to use this command because by default, spanning tree, link type. So you see these are the two options, okay? So as they are already running P2P, okay, point to point, even if I configure this command, that make no sense, right?
So the links which are half duplex, where we use this command, right?
No. You can use that, okay, but you are you are only making the pool of spanning tree. But first, if you see this output share, I think this is a good thing. So you can troubleshoot, okay, you can troubleshoot and you can figure out, okay, hey, my this interface is running as a half duplex, okay, I need to troubleshoot this. So even if you configure this command point to point, then you are making the fool of spanning tree. But behind the scene, this port in half duplex, and you know, like if you port in half duplex, you will get the less speed, right? You will get the slowness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, because like I'm not sure, like I checked the port as well. The port was in full duplex mode. Still, they have configured this command on the
Yeah,
switch interface.
you can configure this command. So I don't know, it will show you or not. Show
But
gigabit one by
it is of no use, right? If the port is
already P2P. I don't think there is no use. So show spanning tree, gigabit interface, gigabit 0 via 1. So this is already P2P, right? So if like you have enabled this command on gigabit 0 by 1, and if I show you the same output for the other interface is also P2P, right? Even on this interface, we haven't configured this command.
okay. Okay, sir.
Any other question? And you can even discuss, guys, like the issue you face in your LAN network, okay, with the STP. You can ask those kind of question also. Like Jasveer, Vishal, or those like who are working, guys.
Okay, sir. If any issue face, we will recall the same. Sir, can we take a class on my company network whenever we got a time?
Your company network, yeah, sure, why not?
Whenever you want, sir.
Okay, yeah, maybe like after switching. Once we complete
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all the switching, even
Yes.
if you want to share your LAN network, yeah, we can discuss your company network. Okay.
Okay, we can go through our my system, office system, na? No issue.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I have a course query regarding course. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure.
So I want to ask about the Wi-Fi, Meraki, Aruba, that we will cover. I think
No,
Aruba in
no,
this course, na?
no. We will only cover like Wi-Fi perspective, Cisco 9800 WLC.
Okay, so we can do this. We can do the labs also.
The 9800, fortunately, I will show you the all the configuration on Cisco WLC 9800. But only thing like we cannot use the access point. Okay, but so we can only run the WLC on EVNG, but not the access point.
So how can we configure the SSIDs?
Yeah, as a, we can run the image or WLC image on, because all the configuration we will do on the WLC side. Okay, not on the access point side. So access point basically they are dummy devices. They will take the configuration from WLC and we can run the WLC image on event. So I will show you the configuration. Okay, so we can run WLC on EVNG 9800 and I will show you all the command on WLC. That's not an issue.
We will cover Nexus also in this course. Nexus switches.
No. Nexus, no.
And firewall we cover FortiGate and Palo Alto.
No Palo Alto only. So again, but I believe like if you see even my thumbnail, okay, on the video, so we're gonna cover CCNP switching, CCNP NRC, Wi-Fi, Cisco 9800, SD-WAN, and Polo. This is the syllabus.
I think your previous recording has FortiGate now.
Previous, we don't have SD-WAN and these things. That's why I removed the FortiGate and added those things.
So I can ask the practical questions if I face any in my day-to-day work.
Yeah, sure.
How long will it take? This course will take?
Minimum 3 months, but 3 to 4 months, okay.
And classes will be like mix up, or will be like daily.
Daily basis, but if I go to the office, okay, on those days might be I'm not taking the classes. I will tell you in advance, but normally, yeah, we will take the class on daily basis, okay.
Sir, are you cover routing protocol?
Yes, yes. So we will cover like CCNP, NRC. We start from like static routing, EIGRP, OSPF, BGP, and policy-based routing, VPN technology, everything. Okay, in CCNP, NRC.
Okay. So we are go through that deeply in the BGP.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
In SD-WAN, all the controllers, we will cover all.
Yes. So we will make the lab, SD-WAN lab. Okay. So we will cover like all vManage, vBond.
We want. So SD-WAN lab is more like similar to the practical deployment that we do in our network. Or
Yeah.
there is a slight change or advancement in that practical deployment.
So, so you joined first time, I mean, this course class.
This class, yes, first time.
Okay. So yeah, maybe like we will discuss like one-to-one. I already covered this thing like in my course introduction class. Okay. So
Okay,
if you have like any further question regarding the course, you can ping me one-to-one. But yeah, definitely we will make the same scenario. Okay, like we will make like all the controller like these days. Okay, we install on a cloud, and then every location. Okay, we only install the our WAN edge devices. So we'll see like how these locations are connected. Okay, through the SG-WAN.
okay.
And before covering the SD-WAN, definitely in CCNP NRC, we will cover DMVPN because earlier, guys, like we use DMVPN, okay, to connect our office. But now these days, guys, okay, like not every company using SD-WAN because the solution is very costly. But if you have a like big network, so definitely you will use SD-WAN because centralizing, you are managing your all your WAN devices, plus you are also removing your MPLS link, okay? Because MPLS link are very costly. So instead of uh, buying MPLS link, you are purchasing more internet link because in SD-WAN you can do like application aware routing and there's the other feature, okay? So that's the main advantage of SD-WAN. So we will cover that, okay? Like when we cover the SD-WAN course, okay? Okay, guys, if you don't have any question regarding the today class, those who are interested, so this is the final demo class. I'm making a new group, okay, who gave me the payment, okay? I'm only added those students in that group, okay? And tomorrow we have a class again, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. IST.
Okay. Sir, can you share the video yesterday and today one?
Yeah, sure, Karan. Like this, so like yeah. So as I told you, I'm going to make a new WhatsApp group, okay? And I'm only
Okay.
going to add those students who paid the fees, okay? So
Okay.
and then I will share the link, okay, where you will get all the classes.
Sir, what is the cost of this course?
20K. You can pay in 2 installment, okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay then, guys. See you tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.